Hello, this is Lisa Russick and Misty Laura with the podcast We're All Psychic. And today we have Jason, and Jason is awesome. We have given him a, what is it called, Misty?
What is it called? We've given him a what? A question?
Not approval. We haven't given him a question yet.
Oh, but we're going to give him a question.
You want to give him the question?
Yeah, I'll give him a question.
All right.
Hey, Jason, I've got a question.
What's your question?
My question is, do you believe that we're all psychic?
That was a suspense.
What do you mean by psychic?
Oh,
question.
He's coming back with us.
Touche.
Oh,
Touche, guess. Touche. So, for me, I mean energy work and working with the energy always. And by the energy, I mean any words you want to associate with psychic, magic, witchcraft, juju, shamanism, anything with the energy healing, Reiki. I mean, it's all energy work to me. So that's what I consider.
No,
anything you don't. What did Nicole say in the last podcast? She said something like, she put it really well in the last podcast. I might splice it in here. Lisa said this. But something along the lines of like, it's like stuff you can't identify with the normal five senses. But she said it a lot better because she said there were four others, and then she went into that. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But that's what I refer to when I say psychic. What about you, Missy?
I refer to it as the no-no.
The no-no.
And the no-no means you just dang know. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know how it works. I don't know how it feels. I just know it's a no-no. You know it. Everybody has a moment where they're thinking of something and it happens. Or somebody's going to call and they call. You know, everybody's got that. You know, and I call it the no-nos because you just know that that's just not normal.
Or is
Actually, it is normal. But
or is it? Yeah. What do you think psychic is, Jason?
I think they fall into both places you guys described.
And more?
Perhaps? Well, to me, there is an unseen force, right? There's some kind of connection. There's something that links us all together. That we can describe that a lot of different ways. And I think you're both right because there is a knowing, right? I know that I know. I don't know how I know. Not really sure I care how I know, but I know.
Right.
And I know it well enough to stick with it.
Yeah.
But how do I know that? Most likely it came to me through some sort of energy.
Yeah.
Right? It came through some of the connection. And that's why I think you guys are both in the same place really in it. But do I believe everybody has those? Yes. Different degrees of acceptance, application, commitment. I mean, those things definitely follow. But if we're asking, are we all that way? Yes. And I when I was thinking about that question, knowing that, it's the title of your podcast, so obviously I'm going to think about it. But I thought about animals, and they're very instinctual.
Yes.
Right? If one of them is hauling through the forest because there's a reason, like an earthquake or a storm or a fire or something like that, they send off some kind of signal.
Get the hell out.
Information, and everybody reacts, and then it spreads very quickly, and they're all
like
moving.
Wildfire.
Yeah.
And they're not communicating verbally. There's no flag. Right? So to me, there is an extra sense available, even in the animal kingdom. Plants do the same thing in their own way. People, for sure. But I think there's a lot more.
Yeah, because I know some people who would run in the opposite direction of the animals so they could go see what.
Right,
what's going on over there?
Yeah. I'm going to the animals. I'm going to be the one following.
You might know not to do that, but people do it anyway.
Yeah. I trust more in the animals' knowledge.
Yeah, I think that's the direction I would go to. If not for any other reason, then if there were a lot of them, it's very dangerous.
Yes.
Very true.
Human condition is fragile.
If you're in a jungle, the jungle wouldn't be a good place for a stampede of animals, I don't think. No. But listeners and watchers, this is a video podcast on Spotify. I met Jason on the Wisdom app. You've heard me talk about the Wisdom app before. It's been a while, but I still get on the Wisdom app a lot. And I went in, he was doing a talk. And, or did you join my talk? I can't remember. I think I joined your talk, didn't I?
I think I was, you joined me. I was doing transformation oracle readings.
Yes.
I think
yes, and you nailed me.
You came on and we did we talked a little and then we did a quick spread, and that's when you invited me. I think was on air actually.
I just remember this just great connection, and we I really wanted him to be on the podcast, and he said yes, and then I was like, and then he says listeners and watchers later on, he was like checking out the podcast, and he knows Granddaughter Crow. She did our astral travel series and another podcast of her own, just on herself, just her life and stuff and her books. So that they didn't know, he didn't know she'd been on it. They've known each other a long time. I thought that was cool. Yeah. And so what do you do for a living? How did you get into all this stuff and things of wanting to help people mainly? Because that's what you seem to really wanted to do, is like lift up. And you said before the podcast, you're an analyzer. Your family's analytical people. So like, where does energy fit in with that analyzing things? I think it fits perfectly because you get to figure it out better and put words to it. But what do you think?
Well, I'm not sure which question to answer there first.
At the same time, you can remember.
Well, for a living, I really what I do is help people. That's my focus. Personally, for me, if I can help relieve suffering and not cause any along the way, that's a pretty good day. That's kind of how I see it. And the analytical side of me, the skeptic, but the logical side really keeps me in business, because the way I see it, there's a lot of information that's available in a lot of different ways. Yeah. And we can get it from whatever path we want to talk about, but it still requires interpretation and application. And that's something that us humans tend to get a little hung up on for our own reasons and for fabricated reasons, and everybody's got their own truth and perspective. So there's, to me, the energy really is the foundation of everything.
I agree.
And it really is the fabric of the universe. Since, whatever energy was created, somehow this canvas turned into what we're experiencing now. Whatever version, whether it's an illusion or reality or not, or in between, who knows for sure. It's fun to talk about.
Oh, it sure is. Yeah. It is.
But we get to be here and do this. And I just kind of take this place as a working vacation. We're going to learn some stuff.
I like that.
I do too.
Right? But it's beautiful and it's fun. And the energy can be a lot of different things. So if we have that fabric of the universe, that's what always has made sense to me, was that it was all connected by energy. Dark matter, I don't, that whole empty space, like that doesn't make sense. Why would it be empty? There has to be something there.
Right.
Even if void has nothing in it, nothing is something. And I know it's a weird split hair, but it just makes sense.
Nothing is something though. I mean, but they can't say nothing because we don't really know. There's so much about the space, about things other than our physics. We've realized that physics isn't the same everywhere else so far. We've realized that's pretty much going on. So who knows what's dark matter? We may never have encountered whatever mass it is. I think they say it takes mass. It takes up mass. That's how they know it's there. It blocks light and stuff. So I'd love, what do you think dark matter is? We're going off topic, but is it? I mean, because it's all part of the, fiber of the universe. And I do believe that's how we get our information, like you just said, whatever it is,
I feel like it
connects us all is like, it feels like it's air, feels like it's water when we're in it. It feels like whatever, but it's
whatever
just,
you want it to be.
It feels to me like if I'm thinking energy in between people holding us together, like energy, what's that? It means like little waves, like all going all over the place, attaching us all, coming out of everything when touching the wall. Kind of like a Tesla ball, a Tesla ball kind of reaches out.
Yeah.
Your hand to it, and if you put your hand to it, it's going to go. That's kind of what I think of the energy being like, coming out of me into, taking an interest in something that comes near me, near my bubble, all my little electrodes. If you don't know what a Tesla ball is, listeners, it's like you see them in Spencer's and probably in Books A Million now. I don't know, or bookstore.
Yeah, I'm sure.
They're those balls that they have a little Tesla coil in, and they have looks like lightning bolts are shooting out of into it and hitting the glass. But when you touch the glass, all the lightning bolts shoot to that. Read about that. That's kind of magical. I've had a friend actually build, I didn't know this person, it was a friend's husband. He built a Tesla coil in his front yard. It was when I was in my 20s. Someone in Huntsville built a Tesla coil in his front yard and just turned it on one day. I was there the day he turned it on, and nothing. I mean, it looked really cool, but he didn't have it to do anything. He didn't have it assigned to do anything but turn on. So that's pretty crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So where have you always believed in this stuff, Jason? Or is this something like that has been something you thought about all your life? Or have you been exposed to energy work all your life or anything like that? Or is this something you discovered on your own?
Pretty much on my own, but there were a couple of things that kicked it up when I was introduced to the concept of reincarnation and that possibility. That piqued my interest right away.
Me too.
Because it made sense to me that there would be more than one life. I mean, because logically, it doesn't really have a purpose without that. There's something that's unseen, and there's a ton of stuff that we don't know about, nor are we in a position to really understand from where we're at. And I kind of settled myself pretty young that there were gonna be things I didn't know. But reincarnation presented an opportunity that there might be skill sets from previous timelines that could be very appealing in this one.
Yeah, I never
that was the first thought. Right? Like, what can I bring through? And then the Matrix came out. I'm like, that's it. That's what I've been talking about. Let's just download it right here. And then I had a consistent love for all things pretty much metaphysical, mostly earth magic. Yeah. Right? So earth ceremony, stuff that's connected, elemental. That I've always kind of stuck in that area. Yeah. And then about been almost a decade now. I was in a motor vehicle collision and had a pretty bad concussion. So no more doing the retail big stuff I was doing in the corporate world. It really was now, how am I going to show up and how are things going to be different? And I had a lot of adjustments in that. When I found the Akashic Records, I'd heard of them.
Fell into the Akashic Records. So you made it sound like.
Yeah, when I found the records, that started answering things for me. Yeah, that's when I started the answers that made sense.
Show me the way. I haven't found it.
Show me the way. Fortunately, now I get to show people the way. That's the joy of having gotten into that subject and stuck with it for the time I have. And honestly, the work I've done in the records and with clients and students over the years is really what shows me that we are all psychic. Because the things that happen to people and the connections and what's available. Just individually and then collectively, there's no way. I am not that imaginative to understand past lives and be able to present them to somebody and just make up a story that is their life. Yeah. I'm not that.
And no details about the places and the clothing and the accents and the language.
Right, uncanny stuff that is that validation, right? And as humans, we need that. So when I was working in the records, I was getting my own validation. In some ways, I was also healing, which I didn't really recognize at first.
Yeah.
So I mean, if there's a modality that gives me information and heals me, I'm in pretty good place with those things.
Yeah.
So I just stuck with it, really, and I still do it now. It's what I love. The Akashic Records is my source of information. It's not everything I do, but it's I've. Over the years, I started out pretty skeptical, right? There's an energetic book somewhere I'm going to read and it's going to help. Really? Okay. But it continues to prove that over and over again, or I wouldn't keep doing it. I'm a very authentic person. If it doesn't help people, I'm not going to be able to get paid to do it. It just doesn't fly.
We've had a few people on the podcast who say they access the Akashic Records and they all say they do it a different way. And it's just fascinating. The first person we had on talk about it her name's Courtney, and she does like a meditative walkthrough. Like it takes her a little while, took her a while to get in there. And then, she does see a library. We have another person who says she just like kind of puts her ego to the side and lets spirit take over. And that's accessing the Akashic Records for her. Another person was saying it's the scalar energy. That's what the Tom Palladino was talking about on his podcast. He does something with computers using scalar energy, which he considers the Akashic Records, which is the energy name for the Akashic Records. So we've had a lot of people talk about it. What's your experience? What do you experience when you go investigate for somebody in the Akashic Records? Do you visualize it, or you just know?
Well, being, as I shared, analytical and also a skeptic, right? I use a protocol system, and I have checks and balances in place. I use a pendulum. My pendulum tuned to my higher self.
Yeah.
And not my pendulum is not giving me answers, right? It's just it's like I said, a check and balance, because I still have my discerning mind, right? So I would like something kind of in between here and there to get me engaged, right? Validation, but also allows me to not worry about my own stuff. I can check myself. Like, is that coming from me? Is that coming from somewhere else? I have that ability in the moment to verify that, right? So I'm not overlapping my own junk. Because, I mean, who does it? In interpretation, we do.
Records, I mean, we are all wrapped up in each other.
Right. And then, to me, the records are like a fifth dimensional type thing. They're not really where I'm accessing it and getting in the information has to kind of go into a higher, whatever, sideways dimension. I don't know where you can put 5.
It feels like it's right on top of us, like that scalar energy theory. All the matter, it's the energy. It is the energy.
Yeah, and that's just it, right? The energy is different, but we're tapping into it differently. Because I do believe that we have our Akashic record in us. Like, it's in our DNA.
Yeah.
Right? It's our Akashic record. We each have one. So, of course, it's attached to us. How else are we writing it, first of all? But that information is held energetically. So we're connected to it energetically. But the beauty is that it's the actual vibration. It's not some made up thing that we tell ourselves. It's what actually happened.
It's an objective opinion. Yeah, there's no opinion.
Well, I will actually say, I can actually verify that I have had them done too before by different people, and it's life-changing. It really, really is. What you do is life-changing. I mean, it can heal things that have happened, a million lifetimes ago that you're still carrying with you, and clear you out and help you in this lifetime. And I think it's great that you're doing that. I mean, it's just an amazing thing to do to somebody. It really is.
Misty, you have questions? I'm sure. I know you got.
Oh no, that was just something that I wanted to jump out there and say. So, is that your favorite part of the job? Is doing the Akashic Records? It sounds like it is.
Well, it's the source of information.
Yeah.
Right. So I love that part of it. Yes. And to answer I'll answer one to answer the other one. My access in the records is very practical. I'm going there to get very specific information. There's no problem with us getting information these days. It is everywhere. We are overloaded with it, right? So great. Another source of where everything that ever happened in the universe is, let's go click in there. Right? It's like getting into a library in a different language. It's just it's not productive, right? Yeah. So it's about very specific information. So when I'm accessing the records for fun and joy, sure, we're all floaty and woo-woo and
let's do that.
Right? But if I'm reading for somebody and I'm getting direct information, the whole point is for it to me is to be practical and actionable. It needs to help us right now, immediately. We need to be able to apply it and use it for something.
Right.
Or it's just
help me. Yeah. Well, do you have any help with you? Do you have any help when you go in there? Like, I know some people have said that they have like angels that help them, or
spirit guide or something like
spirit guide or somebody like that, or do you just go in by yourself with your client?
Well, honestly, there's a couple answers to that, and I don't mean to be a pain, but I believe in the guidance, the spirit guides, the angels, and all those things. I believe those exist. Yeah, that's not. I'm pretty direct in my approach, right? Okay. So if I'm doing and just I'm not trying to sell a reading, but if I'm preparing to meet with a client, usually I'm doing that ahead of time, right? I'm actually doing a full reading for them. I'm spending time with their permission because I can't do it without it. I'm not going to get good information any other way. But with their permission, I'm able to access on their behalf and gather what I need so that our time together is very specifically productive.
Yeah,
because
that's a good idea.
We're really after something when we're doing it, right? Because if I'm going into the records for somebody, on somebody's behalf or my own, for the most part, it's usually for a direct purpose. There's an intention involved.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So do they need to know what that intention is, or do you give it to them?
It varies person to person. That's one of the reasons oftentimes I'll have a conversation with somebody before we get into a full reading or whatever, right? Just as some time to make sure, first of all, that it's a fit, right? And that what I do actually aligns with what they need. Because if we don't know that, there's not really much point in continuing. But until we get to a place of, hey, this is what's going on, right? I'll tell you what I usually find is most of us are caught up treating symptoms. We're dealing with this singular thing, and that, and that, and that. And we get some progress, right? We get some tools and we get some of them under control, but it doesn't always get to the root cause.
It's kind of like have a holistic approach to energy work, as well as like maybe a holistic approach to medicine. Like I think that's the best way medicine should go, holistically, whole body for everything. And maybe some energy
and
that way. Yeah.
Well, medical science, when I had my concussion, said it's going to take time. I'm like, that's not going to work for me. Right? I get the healing part of it, like the physical part, but there's a lot of other stuff going on. I need answers. So if I need to get those for myself, I will. And that's what I figured out. Right. And then when I was using that same information to deliver to other people and it was impactful and they had realizations like I did, I was like, whoa, this actually works.
That must have been just as like exciting for you as it was for your clients to find, like, hear those words, that you would know these things. And, you know, because things people have gotten from the records for me were really specific usually. Now, one time I did go after Courtney's interview, I tried to do that the way she said she did it. And I did I did go in the library and I saw a book, and it was a red book and it had my name on it. And inside it was just opened it up and all these red paper hearts fell out. And that's really all I remember. And the date, July 13th. That was written on one of the hearts because I picked it up and it said July 13th. Nothing happened this year on July 13th or last year. But you know, it's just interesting. The one time I did it, I did kind of see something. I don't know what the red hearts, I don't know what all that was. I was going through a divorce at the time, you know, and I was just like, hearts, you know. But so Misty, but I kind of want to wrap this up into like a nice little package, like about the Akashic Records, you know, just because like it's like everybody does experience them differently, and everyone even has different names for them. Jason, you know, some people, like the guy who name calls the energy itself scalar energy, or like other people, they will say they are accessing, you know, the like heaven or even, you know, God's mind. Some people might say. I've never heard anyone legit say that. Like someone who legitimately does their work and is healing someone say that.
Right.
But to know the God mind. But it seems like to me, like, yeah, at the source you went direct because you're analytical and you want to get right to the point. You did find the records because that's right to the point. You know, the energy itself and speaking to you kind of and giving you the way it talks through the Akashic record imagery. It's kind of what I'm taking from what all of you have said about the Akashic records. It's a way to translate the energy, but having a really good bond with it, a really deep understanding with it to get there. However, each person will.
I think everybody should do it. I really do. At least once in your lifetime. I think that you should.
Get the reading, or even try. Yeah, get the reading at least. Yeah,
get it done. I highly suggest it. It's life changing.
And hey, man, listeners, I think I got on his podcast to feel better, and he did. He made me feel better. I can't even remember why I got on your podcast. It just caught my attention. I think I just was like hitting the button to follow the person who was speaking, and then I got in the queue, and I was like, "Oh, he's cool." I was nervous, but I did it. You know, it's kind of more nerve-wracking to enter someone's talk on wisdom to me than to be the speaker. You know, because I don't know, it just is. You don't know what's going on. Like, you know, I usually listen for a little while. And listeners and watchers, if you haven't been on the Wisdom app, it's kind of like a podcast or like a social media for talking. That's basically a good way to put it, wouldn't you say? It's a social media for talking.
Yep.
Like literal talking.
And you can be on either side of it. You can participate or you can host talks and have other participants. It provides for an interesting exchange of knowledge and perspectives.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I love it. So where can the listeners find you? Speaking of fun things to do. We have a website.
Oh, find me?
Yeah, you. They know where Misty is.
My website is Akasha-Man.com, AKASHAMAN.com. And I came by that honestly. It just sort of organically appeared as my logo and website. Somebody did, and it stuck. Because, like I said, I have the elemental practices as well, right? So the Akasha is a Sanskrit word. It's been interpreted a lot of different ways in Hinduism and Buddhism too, but it's basically the original energy, right? Is the Akashic energy. And then in Buddhism, I think is it Buddhism that calls it? Hinduism calls it the element that the other elements were created in. Oh. The Sanskrit version is Akasha means sky, but it's more atmosphere than sky, which is a differentiation that makes sense when you think about it, right?
Yeah,
it really kind of does. And then I can't remember the third one, but there's a lot of representations of that original energy or some form of it, right?
And that the other things you're saying is always in here. Yeah, good point. Yeah.
And that's why, to me, it makes sense to use that information because, again, it's the energetic.
It is itself speaking.
Of what actually happened. And I describe it much like it's astrology fits for a lifetime. Right? When somebody reads your chart and you really get into, if they're good at reading your chart, it makes a lot of sense real fast.
Yeah.
Right? If they're able to interpret and show you what is connected and why and explain it, that really can be a life-changing event. Right? And its accuracy is ridiculous. Yeah. So I would equate that to, in the Akashic Records, the work that I do is much like an astrology reading for the soul's whole journey. Yeah. Not just for the single lifetime, but for the entire time, right? In our linear view of it. But it's just as impactful, and for many of the reasons that you're saying, right? There's a broad view and a detailed view, and when we can get a look at things and clear things and understand them, it's a lot easier to get rid of them, right? Yes. To change patterns. Behaviors.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's really what it is about understanding, but knowing what's really there.
Yeah. I agree.
So the Akasha-Man moniker just sort of developed from my Akasha and shaman and sort of came together, and there it is.
I'm going to name the podcast Akasha-Man. I have to.
Yeah, you do.
My mom's thinking about taking my course, and then she says she's going to be Akasha mom.
That was great, Akasha mom.
Akasha mom, yes. Yeah,
so then you can have a boy son.
She's got that written down somewhere in red because that'll be her color.
I like
it. At this point, I'd love to thank
spiritual kung fu for you.
Yeah. I would love to thank our sponsor, Everclear. Everclear is an advice app where you can get advice for psychics and empaths. So you can get the clarity you need to create the life you deserve.
You deserve
it.
Deserve it.
Get excited, Misty. They deserve it.
Yeah, they deserve
it. And then any last words for the listeners and watchers? You want there you go. I got a face out of him, guys. I love a face. I love a face.
You get a lot more of those when you prompt them. I'll do it all the time.
Oh, sure. Both you go, one after the other. Misty, your turn. Go first.
Maybe on the next
next one. Oh, he's inviting himself back. I'll take it. You are welcome back anytime, Jason.
Yes.
And do you have any last advice for the listeners? Anything like maybe there's somebody who has access to the Akashic Records and not too sure and they're real analytical and they need something to work with more than just I think I did. I'm pretty sure. What would you recommend to that person?
Well, follow what is leading you. Right. Every spiritual journey, if you're really on an awakening, it doesn't have to be spiritual necessarily, but it's kind of classified that way. It's going to send you inward. That's where you're going to end up. So just go for that stuff now. It will make the journey so much more fun eventually. Not at first, probably, but it will eventually. That working vacation exists to me for everybody. It's accessible for everyone. And clearing out some of our junk helps us get there. That takes some work, but it's so worth it. Absolutely worth it.
It is.
It's leading you in. Go for it. Yes. Go for it. There's a way through. There's a way around. There's a way over. You just got to figure out which one yours is and do it.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Sometimes we need some help with that. If I feel like the right person, I'm happy to do it. But reach out to somebody.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes,
If somebody's
I agree.
shared your experience, it's available.
Yes.
And the people from everyone I've met who has access to the Akashic Records and works with them as their energy source and information source, they want to do it all the time. They want to help. They are out there to help you heal on your own by showing you this stuff, is what I've found from Akashic Records. People get
information is empowering.
Yeah, it is. And
Right?
it shows, it's shown me, like, the times I've had those readings, what I'm not noticing. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
That's the best thing it's shown me, is what I'm not noticing. You know, in every single, the few I've had, that's what I got out of it. But listeners, and thank you so much, Jason. We will have you back. And
Yes, thank you,
whenever
Jason.
you want. And Misty, thank you.
Thank you, Lisa.
And listeners and watchers, we love you as always.
We do. We love you.
Bye, and we'll see you another time. We have another podcast tomorrow with Joni. It's finally happening tomorrow. It's supposed to happen yesterday. We're doing Joni tomorrow. Joni is my friend from middle school, Jason. And I haven't seen her in like probably 20 years, since her wedding maybe. So I don't know, it's been a while. So should be interesting. We went to Catholic school together. We went to Catholic school together, and I'm like, wow, I'm going to hear her psychic stuff. She told me a book she read, and I've ordered it. Should be here tomorrow before the podcast, and maybe I'll get a little bit, her spiritual stuff she practices. I believe it had something to do with I just don't remember. I think it had to do with Aztecs. I might have that wrong. Find out tomorrow, I guess.
To be continued.
Yeah, to be continued. I'm probably awfully wrong. And thank you again. And everybody, peace out.
Bye.
Bye.